Welcome back to Interview with the Bothan. I am Lou, and this is Lenny.
Hello.
And this week, we are torturing ourselves with a gun of command that is self-imposed,
This
to
is
be fair.
Yeah, this is on purpose.
How you doing?
I'm all right. On my way here, I stopped at the Little Free Library and Moyen-Age. And it's got really cool pictures that I'm going to collage with. Look at these baddies.
Is this like an SCA magazine? Can I see this?
Yeah. And then I also found microcomputer graphics with Apple II examples that also has fun stuff to collage with.
This is fascinating.
Right?
My god, you could buy a Tretchy book for... Oh, this is like French.
Yeah.
Gross.
I know.
Huh.
Yeah. It's got really funny orientations of 3D objects with drawings. Look.
Is it from the 80s?
Yeah.
That's why.
It's great.
It's because that's when they invented computer graphics.
1982. Yeah.
That's so swag.
So, I'm excited.
That's exciting.
Yeah. How are you?
We're grading right now.
This is true.
As you know, but as our listeners might not know. And instead of grading, I have decided to learn how to crochet, which is something that I tried to learn as a child and then did not successfully learn. I still don't know how to count, but that's beside the point, which is kind of important for crochet, but it's actually not that hard, and I'm doing it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's...
Like, very actively, as we're talking.
Yeah, looking at some, 6 squares.
Yeah.
Nice squares.
So instead of grading, I just watched Babylon Berlin.
And made squares.
And now I'm making a circle.
Very cool.
Out of scrap yarn.
Yeah, I feel like this is a very good use of scrap yarn.
Yeah, who would have guessed?
Yeah.
The issue is that it's different from knitting terminology, but it's close enough that, like, it fucks me up.
It's like if I tried to learn Dutch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also how Yiddish feels in my head.
Listeners, we both have a passable knowledge of German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's why.
Also, I have developed new gripes with Babylon Berlin.
Yeah?
Yes.
Such as?
Their perception of Jews. Yeah. They're like playing up the religiosity of German Jews. To, like, in... Not that there weren't modern Orthodox Jews. There definitely were. But they're not portraying modern Jews by and large. Some of them are, but some of them are, like, whatever.
They should have contacted you.
Why would they have contacted me?
Because...
They should contact me to make them clothing.
Yes.
Except they're never going to have any more Babylon Berlin, so...
They've missed the boat. That's on them.
Well, I didn't learn how to crochet until yesterday. So, yeah, today...
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the Courtship of Princess Leia.
Oh my god.
I'm so excited. Everyone hates this book. I do not hate this book. I have more things about that later. But this was written by Dave Wolverton. It came out in April 94, which is after both Dark Empire and the Thrawn trilogy. And it was published by Bantam Spectra.
Yeah, and it came out before X-Wing?
Yeah, X-Wing didn't start coming out until
96?
96, 97.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
I have to do the plot overview.
Yeah, you do.
I know, I'm stressed.
It'll be fine. So
Will
what the
it
fuck?
be fine?
Yeah. What the fuck is this book about?
Mormonism.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot.
Where is my... So we can reference it.
Hell yeah.
My combined... God damn it. Why did I put it down here?
Maybe your cigarettes are over there.
Yeah, my cigarettes are actually next to the combined Bible, Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, and Pearl of Great Price.
Hot shit.
That somebody in our department gave me.
That's a nice tome.
Because it's plastic. It feels like shit.
But it's vibey from over here. Oh, gross.
Yeah.
But it's got gold, whatever, on the outside of the pages. Ooh. Another testament of Jesus Christ. I find that really funny. Just like another one.
Another one. There are a lot of testaments of Jesus Christ. And most of them are not canon for good reason.
Wow. It's just like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Ewoks is to Star Wars as whatever is to Mormonism.
Hey, don't shit on Ewoks like that, man.
It's fucked up.
It's
Actually,
fucking-
I haven't even seen Ewoks. I shouldn't be.
How dare you talk about Ewoks that way?
I'll see myself out.
We're never doing that. We're stopping this podcast after this episode.
Creative differences.
The Courtship of Princess Leia.
You didn't say plot overview.
Because I don't have to.
That's true. It's only my thing.
It's set in 8 BBY, which the other day, when I was writing this, learned that it's 43.3 GRS, which is the in-universe dating system,
Interesting.
from the West End Games books.
T.
Yeah. Shout out to Pablo Hidalgo, I guess. And it was originally like a prequel of sorts to Timothy Zahn's Thrawn trilogy, insofar as that it explores the events that lead up to Han Solo and Princess Leia Organa's marriage. Now, if anyone has read this book, that's a crazy way to pitch it, but that's what Dave Wolverton has said on the record. And before I jump into what actually happens, I feel like I should note that this is a contentious book for people that care about Star Wars. But I hate Star Wars, and this book is great. So, the book opens with Solo coming back from the hunt for Zinj, something we are all too familiar with due to the X-Wing books we have covered thus far. As he and the Mon Ramonda get back to Coruscant, the reader is introduced to the idea of the Hapes Consortium, which does raise questions to how much of the galaxy the Empire controlled at any given time. Han is swept into the welcoming party for the matriarchal civilization and learns that his woman, important, has been promised to the Crown Prince of Hapes in exchange for the Consortium's alliance to destroy the remainder of the Empire and warlords. Mon Mothma says some really fucked up shit that makes me question if and how she was elected to lead the Alliance and subsequent New Republic, along the lines of, God, I hope you haven't defiled our princess so we can sell her to the highest bidder, with some bitching about how broke the New Republic is. Han is distraught that Mon Mothma has the ability to be this sexist, and maybe a bit about how he's in love with Leia, so he decides to get into the prediction markets in the lower levels of Coruscant. He wins a planet in a game of sabacc that he wants to present to Leia, seemingly to make up for the fact that her people were the victims of a genocide. She laughs this off, which I would like to note is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like any sensible individual, Solo gets Leia with a mind control gun, which is called the Gun of Command, and whisks her off to this planet, located deep in Zinj space, where they're immediately set upon by evil witches who are also matriarchal, but don't think too deeply about that. Leia's potential beau, Prince Isolder, and Luke Skywalker track the Millennium Falcon to the planet called Dathomir, and they are also set upon by these evil witch ladies. Luke's reason for going to Dathomir isn't just to save his sister from the clutches of Han Solo, he's also after information about the Jedi Order of the Old Republic. Isolder and Luke are taken prisoners, slash slaves, by Tenennial Jo, a young woman who is part of the Singing Mountain clan. Solo, Leia, and the gang are also taken by women in the same clan, and Leia keeps them from imprisoning Solo long term. Independently, these two groups do learn of Zinj's plot to blockade the planet and his tedious alliance with the Night Sisters, women who fall to the dark side and terrorize the various clans of Dathomir. Solo continues to try to win Leia's heart back, which raises questions about Leia's perception of love and marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. He's gone for like a year. He's gone fighting the war.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not like, damn, I wish my partner would come back from the war.
Yeah. She seemed very indifferent to his return.
It was kind of wild.
Yeah.
The Night Sisters, led by Gathzirian.
That is her name.
That is her name. It's a very funny name.
Yeah.
Collude with the Zinj to capture Han Solo over his own hurt ego. Zinj tells these ladies that if they capture Solo and deliver him to Zinj, he will let them leave Dathomir. This is something that even the Emperor didn't do, so it's safe to assume that Zinj also will not let them leave. This does not deter our ladies, however, as they start wreaking havoc on the planet and its inhabitants by starting fires that rival the gender reveal parties in California. We do not have time to ponder the environmental implications of this natural disaster, but as someone who lives in North America, I do kind of miss seeing the sun in the summer.
Yeah, I like when the sun is yellow and not orange at midday.
I like when there's, hear me out, I know it gives you cancer, but the UV rays, kind of nice.
They're good.
I like it when I can feel them.
Yeah, fair enough.
At some point, Zinj fully blocks out the sun, which will throw the planet into an ice age if Solo doesn't surrender and hand himself over. Immediately after this, the Night Sisters decide to start executing dozens and threaten to execute hundreds to try and get Solo to surrender. The gang gets up to some shit, which covers like 18 chapters of this book. The Night Sisters want to steal the Falcon, and Luke decides to sacrifice himself to save his friends.
Classic.
He doesn't die because Dathomir decides that it's not his fate, but he does see Solo while he's writhing in pain. Solo's decided to become a suicide bomber, something that I think was like getting more popular in the mid-90s. It's an effective way to do terrorism, I guess. Which reveals that he's actually a doomsday prepper who's been sleeping on top of a bunch of bombs for God knows how long.
My kind of man.
Kind of hot. He thinks that he successfully infiltrates the Night Sisters, but after the thermal detonator he has fails, it is revealed that the Night Sisters knew the entire time and disabled it as soon as he was captured. Han ends up having several bones and teeth broken because the Night Sisters want him to suffer, which does solidify the underlying theme that ugly women are evil.
Yeah.
It's very weird. The Night Sisters attempt to mutiny against the general that Zinj sent to the planet. This almost works, but they're taken out. Luke decides to start shooting, like the It's Always Sunny meme, to take out the cloaking device that's blocking out the sun. Zinj is pressed about this and starts trying to take them out. There's a battle that occurs between Zinj's forces and the Hapen fleet, and I'm not going to recount it because it's not something I can narrate. Zinj is taken out. The New Republic is expected to rush in and capture hundreds of planets. Leia has admitted once again that she is in love with Han. The Hapens end up deferring to Isolder since his mother didn't bother to show up, and he informs them that he's going to marry Tenennial and that Hapes is going to join the New Republic. Han and Leia get married, which is the entire point of this book, believe it or not, and we are, quote-unquote, set up for the Thrawn trilogy and the rest of the X-Wing book. So,
Beautiful.
you got any thoughts, feelings, or concerns?
Well, I have many, and I feel like not that I did not list them in order of importance.
Well, that's the best part.
Yeah. Well, this book made me rewatch episode 1 of The Acolyte and Tales of the Empire.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I feel like I can't say this on the podcast, but like...
You can say it anyway. We can cut it out.
I know. But, yeah, because like, I don't know. I always find it interesting when we see other Force users. I wanted to compare this to other representations of other Force users. Obviously, episode 1 of The Acolyte doesn't really go super into detail of that, but the main reason I wanted to rewatch The Acolyte was just because I wanted to confirm to myself that I was correct on first viewing that I don't like this show, and I was right.
It's always nice to be right.
Yeah, and then Tales of the Empire was interesting just insofar as, like, I don't know, I've seen Ahsoka. I didn't know where the fuck Morgan Elsbeth came from. I guess it's nice that it was explained in a 15-minute episode, but still, my continuous beef with the Filoniverse is how much shit you need to watch to make other shit make sense. And, like, I feel like this book, for example, does have more weight if you have more context for things, but I also think that it does stand on its own unhinged merit in a way that I do really appreciate.
Yeah, but also the, like, information you need to understand these is not other Star Wars literature.
Yeah. Like, the information, like, what?
It's the Book of Mormon.
Yeah. It's the tablet which decodes this book. And, I don't know, also, this, like, reading this after, like, the 3 Wraith Squadron books, which are all about trying to destroy Warlord Zinja, unfortunately, I have been viewing everything through the lens of hockey, much to the detriment of my personal relationships, but to that end, the fact that, like, Zinja was in the background of the Rogue Squadron books, then is the main antagonist of the Wraith Squadron trilogy, so that's 7 books where he's, like, lurking as the presence of evil that folks are dealing with, only to then be defeated in none other than the Courtship of Princess Leia. Really has the game to me as, like, Game 6 of the Habs-Bolts playoffs being tied in regulation time only for someone that no one has talked about all game to score the winning goal in overtime. Does not make any sense, where it's just sort of like, yes, we, like, wow.
I mean, it makes sense to you.
Does it make sense to you?
No, but that's because I don't understand hockey. It's like a Cocomelon thing for me.
Okay, yeah. But it's just sort of like, or it's something decisive happening after a long narrative in a very silly way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. I don't know.
No, I get it.
I love the image of 3PO in clothes. That tickled me. Just
I wonder what kind of clothes you would wear if you wore them on a regular basis.
Right? And I don't know, the flirting in this book is really funny. On like page 333 in the mass market paperback, Leia says to Han, "You look really good with that bomb strapped to you," which
is kind of fun.
It's great. Like, hey, hun, is that a bomb in your pants, or are you just happy to see me?
Well, it's also like, I think you should kill yourself. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, it's really hot when you're suicidal. No, kill yourself. It'll make you sexier. The evil cousin of, you're so sexy, don't kill yourself.
Yeah, don't kill yourself, you're so sexy.
and then the next thing she says is, "I like the way your pants fit," which, that's horny. Yeah, I like it. Love that Leia gets the ick because Iceholder is a eugenicist, which is not a problem for Tenennial.
And because Tenennial is also a eugenicist, maybe?
Yeah, I think the moral of this story is make sure someone you might marry isn't a eugenicist if you are also not a eugenicist.
Yeah, it's not a very good, what's the word? It's a difference of opinion that can
really make or break your compatibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then also on the note of Leia, like the conversation that Leia has with, well, they're all like, I don't know, hanging out around the campfire and they're talking about the right to rule, I guess. And Leia makes a comment where she expresses that the idea of being born into leadership or like leadership being inherited is quote unquote barbaric, which I kind of agree with Iceholder for calling her out and being like, "You're literally a princess?"
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Like, why are you the diplomat for the New Republic? Like, you...
Well, that's not why she's the diplomat.
No.
She's the diplomat because her people were genocided.
That. But there are other Alderaanians who are not in the same position of power as her. I don't know, which sort of leads into I find the lack of self-awareness in both Han and Leia to be really fucking funny. Like, Leia's uneasiness with the fact that she's literally a princess, and then there's one moment where they're in the political prison, and Han is like, "Don't trust that guy, he's a criminal." It's just like, Han, you king, you...
We are also criminals.
Yeah. Like,
it is fascinating.
Yeah. Then, I don't know, distraught that I couldn't find Iceholder and Han are bros fanfic because they are the same guy.
I mean, if it exists, it's probably either A, not available anymore, B, in a fanzine hidden somewhere.
Yeah. No, my search was limited to AO3.
Yeah, that seems like AO3's a little new.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does. And then one last thought, though, on the note of fanfic, is that I did find a really great fic that was the plot of the Courtship of Princess Leia explained by drunk Lando Calrissian. And it's great.
Wait, will you send that to me?
Yes.
That sounds so fun.
It's really fun. And it's not that long. It's like one of the first hits if you look up the Courtship of Princess Leia.
I don't normally.
I don't normally either, and then I read this book, and then...
I wonder if this episode is going to be shorter.
It might be. Oh, here it is. The Courtship of Princess Leia, explained badly, by Krayshak. Summary. How I imagine a slightly drunk Lando might explain the events of this novel. Yeah. What are your thoughts, feelings, and concerns?
I, personally, every time you see anyone talking about this book, they're like, the characterizations are so bad. Nobody would ever act like this. Have you considered it's funny? No, I don't think Han Solo would necessarily have a bunch of bombs under his bed. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
No.
But you know what? It is fucking funny.
Yeah.
I've learned how to count since we've been on here.
That's huge.
The characterizations of everybody is like fucking crazy. That being said.
Yeah.
It's genuinely so funny. But at this point, really, you're going off like what? Marvel Comics, the Thrawn trilogy, Dark Empire, the Han Solo adventures, like the Brian Daly books.
The holiday special.
Yeah, this is, if we want to talk about characterizations, consistency, this is very holiday special coded.
Yes.
Except slightly better?
A little bit.
A little less like, I'm sitting here stunned because of how horrendous it was. So I guess that's a plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this hasn't rendered us speechless.
I mean, there was a lot about the holiday special that rendered me speechless, personally.
That's so pretty.
I'm knitting. I'm not knitting. I'm crocheting a circle.
Yeah.
Which is, for some reason, more important than talking. And there's also just a bunch of fucking hilarious quotes. The best of which being Han saying, "Boy, I hate messing up a good road," and then immediately blowing up a road. The Mormons are not subtle. They are not a subtle people.
He just wanted to put...
Yeah, I think he wanted to bomb a road. Which, how did they have roads? I thought they didn't have any technology. How are they supposed to make roads?
Magic.
Magic does not make concrete.
The road is made of wood.
That's not a road, then that's a bridge. I will say the other thing I found hilarious is and I quote, "What a cramped little man I've been," Han realized, wondering how he'd not seen it. Not noticed it himself, and promising that he would never let it happen again. Because it's more of a, who thinks like this?
Me.
You think like that?
Yeah.
Han Solo, what are you doing here?
You invited me to your house.
Yeah, I did invite you.
Yeah. No, I definitely have moments where I'm like, damn, I've been thinking like an idiot for the past several times of every time I've thought I should stop doing that. Yeah.
Interesting.
No, where I'm like,
But do you call yourself a cramped little man?
I feel like, not the exact words, I feel like wretched little freak is more my speed.
Wretched little freak is much better than cramped little man.
Yeah, but I'm not a general in the New Republic.
Well, why not?
Because the New Republic doesn't exist. Oh, here it is. One of my skills is remembering what part of a page a thing is on. Does that make sense?
It is a good skill.
I remembered that this was in the bottom right corner.
Oh, like the physical location on
Yeah.
the page? Fascinating.
Leia looked down at the ground at the tilled fields of the Singing Mountain clan. Just ahead, at the limit of vision, a dozen Imperial walkers and perhaps 24 Night Sisters marched down a wooden road. Han spotted them. "Boy, I hate messing up a good road," Han said as he launched his proton torpedoes. Leia only hoped the energy shielding would hold through the blast.
It is funny.
Yeah.
But it's just, it feels very comic booky, I guess, is my point.
Yeah, it goes back to the long bit I had about action hero quips and Corran Horn.
Yeah.
It's Corellian men.
Corellian men are evil, actually. That's the new thesis of this podcast. Sorry, Wedge Antilles. Maybe you shouldn't have been born where you were born.
You can't choose where you're born.
You can't, but maybe it predetermines you.
Yeah.
To a life of quip.
A life of quip. A life of
quipping. So.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts. Also, I've read the other one, which you might not have read because you're normal. And I will say, I do prefer this to, I think it's called The Princess and the Scoundrel.
Mm-hmm.
Because The Princess and the Scoundrel is just so, like, boilerplate romance. I think I might have a copy of it, actually, somewhere. Because I have 154 Star Wars books now. Shout out to that guy on Facebook.
Shout out.
Shout out. Love a good deal on Facebook Marketplace.
You're assimilating. I just find Dathomir very interesting.
We can talk about that.
Yeah. Because my introduction to it was watching Ahsoka. They are not on Dathomir, and I know the witches there are they're on Peridia, but Morgan Elsbeth is from Dathomir.
So is Darth Maul.
Indeed. And that's the other thing too, is that's really interesting in this book that I watched some videos about, is the way matriarchy plays out in this clan system of where, I don't know, my understanding from reading this book, it's not chill that you can see a man and be like, you're gonna be my slave now.
Yeah, it's not very cool.
No, it's not very cool. But also the way that it's done in I think that's depicted in the Clone Wars, where like they have the Zabrak from a different planet, like they're men. I should look up the planet. What planet are the
They are, I think, at this point from Dathomir.
Yeah, Iridonia is their planet of origin, and then I have 2 hearts. Yeah, although most Zabraks are from Iridonia, some settled on the planet Dathomir, where the females of the species, known as Night Sisters, ruled over the Night Brother males and practiced powerful dark side magic. Notably, Dathomirian Zabraks had paler skin and lacked the cranial horns shared by the rest of the species.
Which is also just not true.
No, because yeah. I don't know, and I think the main takeaway for me, just because I have this problem when I like try to absorb large amounts of information in a short span of time, is that like I obviously don't remember the details super well, but I have been plagued by thinking about Star Wars for almost over a year.
Yeah.
And I still am kind of consistently blown away by just how many different, not just how much lore there is, but how many different kinds of lore there are. Just because...
Could you elaborate on that?
I shall. Because the thing that I have been finding most interesting, and I think what we spend the most of our time talking about on this podcast, is the like political side of things. Like,
yes.
Yeah, like the construction of the New Republic after the Empire, which I think is by virtue of the book, like the timeline in which the books that we're reading so far have taken place.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that the stuff that's like in the Star Wars lore that like I think is more in the vein of like quote unquote high fantasy, just...
Could you provide an example?
Like or not high fantasy, I don't know, just like what was something where I was watching, I was like, damn, like, I don't care about this. Which is like, not in a mean way, but what I mean is like, it's really cool to me that there's this whole like bucket of lore that I just don't necessarily feel like approaching, but there's still...
It exists and people care about it.
It exists and people care about it, and there's also at the same time like enough space for me to give a shit about an entirely different bucket of worms. And it is definitely interesting when like the two overlap, because like for example, in Canon, which we see in the Ahsoka series, we see like a cooperation between dark side witches in the form of the Night Sisters and a remnant of the Empire in Thrawn. And in this, we have Zinja also, like, it's not... The way that they work together is different, because it really doesn't seem like... I don't know. From my memory of Ahsoka, like, they're, like... the Night Sisters and Morgan Elsbeth are kind of, from my memory, using Thrawn about as much as Thrawn is using them. Whereas in this book, Zinja and the Night Sisters are on a lot less even footing.
Yeah.
Where like if Zinja doesn't hold up his side of the deal, the Night Sisters are completely fucking fucked. Whereas if like Thrawn stops helping the Night Sisters on Peridia, they're stuck there. And if they stop helping him, he's also stuck there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still think the ways in which different force groups are used by different political actors in both EU and canon is very interesting to me. Also, I would like to shout out the fucking Tales of the Empire for finally adequately explaining to me the origin of the Inquisitors. I'm very happy about that.
I think there's a book about it.
That's nice.
That you're supposed to have read.
I'm really happy that it also happens in a 15-minute animated series, because
I do kind of like the Tales books. I think they're fun.
I would read them.
Yeah, no, there's like a lot of similarities between like what you are saying about the portrayal of Dathomir and the portrayal of Corellia in kind of like Legends versus Canon. Unfortunately, I know way too much about this because I hate being alive, mostly. That's the reason. But like in the, and I can't say for all EU media because I have not read everything in the EU, believe it or not.
I believe it.
So in the Han Solo trilogy, it is portrayed as more of like a stratified class system where there is in fact like a bourgeois, and there is, like a petit bourgeois and stuff, and they have power in the city itself. And then when you look at things like the Han Solo movie, which turns 11 this year, I think.
Whoa.
I know. Rogue One turns 10.
Wow.
Which is kind of wild. And I do have opinions about it, but they are not the standard opinions. So I do not say them. It is portrayed as more of an industrial world. And there are shipyards, like Corellian shipyards, but it's presumed that most of the shipyards are in space in the EU, because how the fuck, like, if you're looking at Kuwa, how the fuck are you gonna,
I don't.
build a superstar destroyer
On a planet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then get it into the sky. That's just not
It's not very efficient.
It's not. You have hockey.
Mm-hmm. I do, yeah, and you have
And
crochet.
I can't count to 6, so without saying it out loud.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god, it's the bottom of the 4th already.
That's crazy.
Why the fuck would you pay $40 to go to a game?
I don't know.
It makes no sense. So yeah, when you look at Corellia, sorry, I don't have any notes about this except the notes that are somewhere over there.
The notes on your heart.
The notes in my heart. The notes in, I've watched the Han Solo movie like 7 times. So it is a very industrialized planet, and I think that is the case like in several types of media in the Disney canon. But it does not seem like there is anything but a lumpen proletariat that lives on the planet itself, which is interesting. And also just does not seem very viable.
No.
Because even if it is the Empire who's controlling everything, they're importing people. Like, that just causes mistrust. Like, when your boss is, not in a racist way, but like, if your boss is from the same planet as you, you're going to have more in common with them, and you'll be less likely to like be like, wow, this piece of shit fascist. I mean, when we look at like World War II and the way that like fascist governments, I guess in the first half of the 20th century, are dealing with this kind of like expansion, and like colonial governments by and large, is like, if you look at the Raj, they employed people who were from India to some level of status because it made it easier than importing British, military people to run everything, because also it's like very easy to single someone out, and it also like is kind of the divide and conquer aspect. And I just find it is very similar, and it's very interesting because I guess it kind of goes back to the like Star Wars is for 12-year-olds of it all.
That like Star Wars is for 12-year-olds, so therefore the like portrayal of societal division should be simpler. Yeah,
pretty much.
No, because like I don't know, I think going back to Dathomir, I think like the way that the social organization of all the clans is a lot like, we have the explanation that Night Sisters are castaways from other clans who have done things that are against the moral codes of these clans, and so that either they have like this period where they can choose to atone or opt to join the Night Sisters, and like that's who they will be. In Tales of the Empire, it's just sort of set up that like the Night Sisters are one clan, the Mountain Clan is a different clan, and that's just sort of
the Mountain Clan even exist?
Yeah, very in one episode.
That's because it was the canon. It was like when you look at the Clone Wars and the kind of like levels of canon, where like TV is a different canon than literature in pre-Disney EU stuff, and it still is, even though they were like, no,
It's all the same.
it's all the same, which is maybe not the best strategy.
No, because if it's all the same, then why is Morgan Elsbeth not being sent to the Ascendancy? Because that is what Thrawn's motivation is in the books. So if that's his motivation in the books, then it should be that in the movie, in the TV show.
Well, and even in the older books, like, maybe I shouldn't spoil this because we're gonna read them, but like, mind you, Thrawn is long dead, but like the Hand of Thrawn is like people. It's the same thing. He did the same thing twice.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're gonna send people to the unknown regions, quote unquote, to have the quote unquote Empire of the Hand. Come on.
Yeah.
That being said, Maul, fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Goddamn, Dave Filoni can tell people how to animate.
Yes.
And knows how to hire good animators.
This was also a note I had for the Empire Tales of the Empire. Because I talk a lot of shit about Dave Filoni, but I love the little creatures in all of his shows.
You should maybe... They're 22-minute episodes. The Maul show.
Oh, cool. And like another thing about just like the transmigration of things from EU to canon is like the substance or whatever that like the witches of Dathomir, I think kind of regardless of whether or not they're Night Sisters or not, is called ichor, which is also what the blood of rancors is called in this book, which is interesting because like I don't know, the relationship between the Mountain Clan in this book and the rancors was really fun, I found.
No, I think it's very interesting, and it's like what is the word I'm looking for? It's such a parallel, I guess, to the perception of them in the films. Because of like, I mean, really the only one we see is the one in Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is...
I mean, he's
tiny.
He is tiny. And also, like...
He's a little baby.
You know, shout out the Rancor trainer. Like, we rewatched Return of the Jedi, I think, within the past 6 months.
Have we?
Yes. And...
I trust you.
Thanks. And there's this, like, we both, like, noticed that there was this one shot that, like, we just focus on the Rancor trainer crying after the Rancor dies.
There's a short story about that.
Yeah, because then we, like, looked him up, and we were like, what's his deal? And then there's, like, his Wikipedia article is, like, very informative about, like, the, like, long emotional relationship that he has with the Rancor, and, like...
Because he trains them, because he was, like, an orphan or whatever. Yeah, it's fascinating.
It is fascinating. It's also me. Like, so the fact that the Rancor blood is called ichor in this book, and the, like, a big part of the Dathomir economy, I guess, is the, like, relationship that they have with Rancors, because it's how they travel. Like, they, like, purposefully introduced a large creature in their nearby lake so the Rancors could eat it. They're
like little pets.
Yeah, but they're really fucking large. And so then the, like, sort of force substance, that, like, green stuff that you see that, like, you know, reanimates Savage Opress is called ichor. And I think that's cool.
Called ichor? I didn't know that.
Huh. And the other thing that's fun about ichor is that if you were
But also, I only know about Savage Opress insofar as his name is Savage Opress.
Yeah.
I have not watched most of the Clone Wars.
I only know about Savage Opress insofar as I have watched video essays about people explaining the Witches of Dathomir. But the other fun fact about ichor is that fans of Percy Jackson and other Greek mythology nerds will know that ichor is the fluid, it's the blood of the Greek gods.
Is that
it's called
case
ichor
in actual Greek?
Yes, in actual Greek mythology. I
think I knew that because Leo's playing Hades right now.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
It's a very, very pretty game.
Cool.
And also, the Furies. Did your roommate, have you ever seen JoJo's Bizarro Adventure?
I have not. I'm sure my roommate has.
Because the Furies in Hades look like characters from JoJo's Bizarro Adventure. And they're really hot, that's all.
That's important.
Yeah. Seemingly hotter than what I kind of assumed the Hapen women would be.
Yeah, well, the Furies are not supposed to be hot. Like, in Greek mythology.
Maybe that's a me thing.
Because they are the The Iranes. They are the goddesses of vengeance in ancient Greek religion and mythology. And
You should look up the Furies in Hades.
what's their deal? Description. Sorry, I just love the description of Tisiphone in the Statius Thebaid. Sorry, my pronunciation is trash and ass.
I can't believe that they gave you money for being Greek.
This is a different language. Ancient Greek and modern Greek are different languages.
They should make you learn ancient Greek.
Well, they're gonna get mad at me for this. This is a worse sin than not knowing how to pronounce ancient Greek, which is my assertion that ancient Greeks and modern Greeks are different people. Oh. So prayed he, and the cruel goddess turned her grim visage to hearken. By chance she sat beside dismal Casitus, and loosed the snakes from her head, and suffered them to lap the sulphurous waters. Well, that actually could be hot. NVM. Never mind.
I like how you said NVM.
Yeah, that was pretty online of me, my bad. Apologies.
Have you looked up the Furies from Hades yet?
No, not yet, sorry. Oh, they are hot.
They're so hot.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's kind of uncomfortable.
I'm distraught.
They're so pretty. But also they look like characters from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Anyway. So that's a fun fact that the blood of Rancors is the same as the blood of the Greek gods.
It's because the Rancors are actually gods.
Yep. And that's why their blood is magic through which the witches of Dathomir can access the Force. But I'm not sure that, like, in canon that has anything to do with Rancor blood.
I mean, it does kind of, like... I know you said you rewatched the first episode of The Acolyte, and I don't want to, like, harp on The Acolyte for an extended period of time because I don't think it's particularly useful. But it is kind of interesting when you're talking about, like, the alternative modes of magic and how people access that and how it is viewed by the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what the Acolyte tried to do.
They did their best.
They did. And people have thoughts and feelings about it.
It's true.
And sometimes they are very concerned about those thoughts and feelings.
I like when people are passionate. But
no, I've never been passionate about anything in my entire life. And especially the Acolyte. Not once, not never. No way. But the idea of, and it kind of happens in this book, sorry, this might be too much of a segue. It's like the way that Luke looks at other Force users and how they exist within their spheres of understanding of the world, I guess would be the best way to put it. Even though it's not a very good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, Luke does think that everything seems to be pretty valid as far as the Force goes, which historically was not the case in canon or legends.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's an interesting thing to like kind of put up against the Acolyte in ways that the Jedi kind of perceive the
I don't remember what they're called.
Do they have a name?
They're the Brendok Coven. It was a coven of witches led by Mother Anisea, operated on the planet Brendok during the High Republic era.
Which conceptually I do find fascinating because, like, why do the Jedi not want you to exist? Is it because they don't seem to have a monopoly on Force-based religions? As far as I can tell. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. I'm trying to remember the name of the, like, I can't remember if it was Middle Ages or early modern or after, but like the fucking, I don't remember enough details about it except for they were like Christian adjacent groups in Europe who were doing shit that was different and then they were all killed.
Well, that happens all the time.
I know. But
Illinois tried to get rid of the Mormons.
Yeah.
And then they apologized for it. Pretty recently, I might add.
Yippee! I googled the right thing. Oh my god. So this is fun. Wait, Cathars and
you good?
The Waldensians.
What are those?
Well, the Waldensians are adherents of a church tradition that began as an ascetic movement within Western Christianity before the Reformation. Originally known as the Poor of Lyon in the late 12th century, the movement spread to the Courtship Alps and to what is today France and Italy. The founding of the Waldensians is attributed to Peter Waldo, a wealthy merchant who gave away his property around 1173, preaching apostolic poverty as the way to perfection.
Very Francis of Assisi coded.
Yes.
If you ask me.
So true. And they are viewed as proto-Protestants, and they joined the local Protestant... Okay, this is later than what I thought it was. Massacre of Waldensians. It's the, like... I grouped the Waldensians and the Cathars together in my head because of an article I read in undergrad, I believe. But the Cathars were a Christian quasi-dualist and pseudo-Gnostic movement which thrived in northern Italy and southern France. Denounced as a heretical sect by the Catholic Church, its followers were attacked by the Albigensian Crusade and later by the medieval Inquisition, which eradicated them by 1350. Thousands were slaughtered, hanged, or burned at the stake.
At the stake?
At the stake. At the stake. Yeah. They believed that there were not
this was
one.
In Spain?
No, in southern France and northern Italy.
Okay.
And
they got inquisitioned.
They got inquisitioned. They might have traveled to Spain, but that's where they originated, or thrived.
I just didn't think there were really inquisitions like that outside of Spain.
So this Inquisition is the medieval Inquisition, which was established in response to movements considered apostate or heretical to Roman Catholicism, in particular Catharism and the Waldensians in southern France and northern Italy. Yeah.
I don't know much about Christianity.
No, I
famously so.
Yeah. But yeah, so just brought them up as examples of Catholicism, pretty dominant religion in the Middle Ages, kind of the only one of Western Europe that you could be without getting wrecked, apparently, which you didn't have to be a wrong Christian for that to happen to you.
Yeah, I mean, they killed people who were Catholic.
Yeah.
If they didn't support the right king.
Indeed. But yeah, it is
or if they got mad that all the popes had 26 illegitimate children.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
Stop asking questions about that.
The pornocracy was kind of crazy, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's my favorite period of history.
The pornocracy?
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard of that.
It is a term used to describe, probably most famously, Alexander VI.
Mm-hmm.
But...
also known as the rule of the harlots.
Yeah, because they all had a bunch of fucking children, whom then they made cardinals. Yeah.
Wow.
It is the only thing I know about medieval Christianity outside of how it impacts the Jewish population. So...
yeah, but it seems like what we see depicted in the Acolyte is sort of they view this group of witches as a heretical sect and accuse them of dark side magic, which to be fair, they do. Isn't this the ones that do the mind raping?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not cool.
It's not very cool.
Yeah, but
0 out of 10.
Yeah, no, don't do.
But then it's also okay, are you just supposed to let the Warren Jeffs part of the FLDS do their thing?
I don't know who that is.
Warren Jeffs is a guy who is famous because he is kind of the heir apparent. He's currently in prison. He's the heir apparent to one. I think it might just be. Let me look this up because I don't want to be wrong. Oh my god, it's the middle of the 6th.
That's fucked up.
I miss when baseball was good. Warren Jeffs. Okay, he is, as of right now, from prison, the president of the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They are one of the Mormon offshoots that still practices polygamy. And if you know anything about Mormon polygamy, you know that they marry children. So when I say, are we just supposed to let Warren Jeffs do that to people?
No.
No. Are they experiencing religious persecution? Yes, because the way that they practice their religion is by marrying. How young is his youngest wife? Hello. He has 78 wives.
That's,
And is convicted in Texas for aggravated sexual assault of a child and sexual assault of a child, and then in Utah for child rape as an accomplice, 2 counts, but it was overturned.
damn.
And he has more than 60 kids. And he's been in prison since 2006. He technically has life with the possibility of parole.
I don't think he should have the possibility of parole.
He was placed on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. Hi. I would like to know how young your youngest wife was. He's also technically the sole authority in the church to perform marriages.
Oh.
Yeah. Until courts in Utah overvened, Jeffs controlled almost all of the land in Colorado City, Arizona, and Hilldale, Utah. Texas ended up taking custody of 416 children, and the caller claimed to be a 16-year-old girl married to a 50-year-old man, stated that she had given birth to his child a year prior.
God.
Which was a false thing, but he does have a shit ton of wives.
Yeah.
And has been convicted of several sex crimes.
Yeah. In reading his section on his Wikipedia page for convictions for sex crimes, the youngest wife listed is 12.
Yeah. So.
And he also sexually abused children as young as 5 and 6.
Yeah. So, like, fundamentalist Mormons are a religion.
Yeah.
Should we just leave them to do whatever? Like, and I'm not saying I'm not a Jedi defender by any means. I genuinely could not give a shit. I find the Force boring. It's not why I like Star Wars. I like Star Wars because of
Galorno,
mostly. Yeah, actually, it's the only reason. But, or if we look at other religions that cause, like, severe amounts of harm, like Shenyang.
Yeah.
Should they let Shenyang tour the way they do? Probably not.
No.
So it raises interesting questions of, like, okay, so if you are in a death cult, and this is specifically talking about the Acolyte, your religion is a death cult that hinges on these 8-year-old girls. 8-year-old girls cannot consent to things, especially being the leader of a death cult. Maybe the authorities should intervene.
Yeah. And, like, I don't know if you want to leave this in, but, like, it is interesting in the context of what you pointed out and the fact that Leslie Hudland was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant. Given that context, the whole show does kind of, like, read as an apologia for
people who do sex crimes.
Yeah.
Because then it's also, like, okay, if you read... Sorry, I'm just going to keep shit-talking the Acolyte. If you read what happens to Tobin, who I really genuinely like as a character, to be completely honest. If you read that as, you know, kind of a... As the way that I read it, I guess would be the way that I would put it, is basically what happens is they take advantage of a child in an attempt to get his authority figures off their back about the shady shit they may or may not be doing, which is just fascinating because, like, going back to the kind of Warren Jeffs of it all, like, yeah, if nobody does anything about the absolutely horrific shit that, you know, primarily these men propagate, I guess is the best word. Do you have to do stuff about that? I would argue yes.
Yeah. And it's very, like, disappointing to see something that is, like, as important as this to talk about sort of get distilled in the brain-dead dialogue of the Jedi are bad. No, the Jedi are good.
It would genuinely be a much better show if it was like, okay, well, what are the Jedi covering up? Similar...
I mean, it's a massive religious organization, probably.
Crimes of sexual violence? Like, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Is like, that would be interesting.
Yes.
To talk about that. It's not talked about. It would be interesting to talk about, you know, do they have a role, like, do they have an organization that is like CPS? Does not seem like it.
No.
Which is interesting, to say the least, because you know, what happens to the Warren Jeffs in the galaxy far, far away? Nothing?
Yeah.
That's weird as fuck. And on that note, because they do that now, I had to pay a bunch of fucking money to listen to the fucking Reds games.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's my fault for being a Reds fan, but...
Mid. Sorry.
They are mid. Now they're like middle of the pack. And that's just fucking stupid.
It is stupid.
Like, can you imagine if they were like, you know how we're going to make hockey better? We're going to make them go, like... A period can be like... You're limited on timeouts, and we're changing the period so it's like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Instead of 20.
That'll be fucking...
And then you still got to pay $225 to go see the Habs play.
No.
Yeah. Like, it's just, okay. You just want to tank attendance. Is that what it is?
Why?
Who knows?
Oh, poor people can't have fun.
Poor people cannot have fun. It's actually against the law.
Yeah.
Time to talk about Mormons?
Yes.
Or do we want to do what is the geopolitical situation of the New Republic first?
I think the segue into Mormons would be smoother.
I mean, they're all kind of the same.
Yeah.
It's one giant thing this week. So, Lenny, how much do you know about Mormons?
More than I did before, thanks to this book and the nice lady on YouTube.
Alyssa Grenfell.
Yep.
I love her.
She's great.
She's so based. Did you know she did I can't remember if it was for the New York Times or for another newspaper, but she did a photo shoot in front of a Mormon temple.
That's so fun.
Yeah, they hate her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might have been the Washington Post. I don't know.
It was the Wall Street Journal.
It was the Wall Street Journal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, genuinely one of my favorite things.
Yeah. Oh, this is great.
No, it's so good. And she has written a book. It's called How to Leave the Mormon Church. And she's been on, like, Mormon stories and stuff. Which you probably don't know what that is. But it's a podcast ran by this guy who's currently getting sued over, quote-unquote, copyright infringement. Because the church is basically claiming that he's misrepresenting himself to make people believe that he is the Mormon church. Which is just not the case, because also they excommunicated him.
Yeah.
Very publicly about 10 years ago, which is just fascinating. But what did you learn about Mormonism from Alyssa Grenfell?
Okay. I learned, because the two videos I watched, 2.5. One, how Mormon is Twilight. Very.
Very. Did you know that Dave Wolverton was one of Stephanie Meyer's professors?
I did not. That's fascinating. At BYU?
At BYU, yeah.
I learned that, well, the other video I watched was on why so many sci-fi authors are Mormon.
What did you learn from that?
Well, it's interesting because, like, her thesis is that, like, because of the, like, gender dynamics of the church, like, female authors are more likely to write about, like, romance in a fantasy setting.
Mm-hmm.
And male authors are more likely to write, like, high fantasy shit. And basically...
All of Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah. And, like, it's sort of, like, her thesis, like, boils down to is, like, well, women are raised that, like, they can't focus on any sort of, like, personal development until they have become wives and mothers. So, of course, like, romance is centered in, like, female authors shit, whereas male authors are, like, you know, men are promised planet. They can deal with this sort of, like, the more, like, complicated doctrinal stuff, which is sort of feeds more into the world building shit.
Yeah.
And then the other one I watched was her breaking down how very racist the Mormon church is, which sort of, like, I learned a lot about, like, the importance of appearance in Mormon doctrine, which certainly there's a lot to talk about here in this book, which I will get into. And, like, a lot of stuff that, like, I quote unquote learned is, like, stuff that I sort of knew from, like, osmosis and
the osmosis of
talking to you.
Me being like, I need to tell you what I learned about ex-Mormons today.
Yeah. But, like, the tablets, the fact that there is more than one book in the Mormon canon, I didn't know that. I thought it was all just the Book of Mormon. Learned that apparently Coke, like the soda, the pop, if you will, is Mormons love Coke.
They do love. They call it soda.
Yeah,
and
but
they do love it because they can't have coffee.
Yeah,
Except now it seems that nobody gives a fuck
hilarious.
about the coffee anymore because.
But I went down a minor. I just wanted to know why, if coffee is bad, then why the fuck can you have Coke? Their Coke is also caffeinated.
Well, they can't have tea either.
Yeah, it's a hot beverage.
Yeah, but then you say that. But if you get more into the ex-Mormon content, there are Mormons who do believe that drinking pop is akin to drinking coffee and they won't drink it.
Interesting.
Because for a very long time they were like, it's the caffeine.
Yeah.
And now they're like, no, it's the warm beverage. Pop is fine.
Yeah, no. I learned this in the context of Alyssa Grenfell talking about the fact that Bella refused coffee in one of the Twilight books and requested a Coke instead.
Did you see the BYU commencement speech from Stephanie Meyer? Is that in that one?
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It's so interesting.
Update. This is so quick.
It's so cool. It's really mesmerizing watching this thing grow.
And I'm able to talk while doing it now.
Yippee!
It took 10 minutes. That's fascinating.
Yeah. So this is what I learned. It's not the most.
Well, now you have an entire new space where you can, of things you can learn.
Hell yeah. This is...
Because holy fucking shit, Mormonism is the most fascinating thing. Because okay, so the other day, this wasn't the other day, this was a few weeks ago, and will be even more weeks ago by the time this comes out. We were approached by missionaries. And I don't think that they thought that I was going to know anything about who they were because they are not taught that anyone knows anything correct about Mormonism from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have gotten very interesting in the way that I deal with Mormons because now they can call their parents.
That's good.
Once a week. But in the olden days, and by that I mean when I was in my undergrad, I would be nice to them and be like, hey, do you want to call your parents? Do you have access to your passport? Are you able to go home if you want? Because they are kind of trafficked.
Mm-hmm.
And there were these two missionaries on my undergrad campus. Cannot remember their names, but they had very swag ties, which is a thing. They all buy their missionary clothes from the same place. And they have very pretty ties. Because they have to wear ties. I don't know if they have to wear ties all the time now.
Not sure.
But now I'm incredibly rude to the men and very nice to the women. And I'm just like, hey, no. But women, I'm like, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And they get it because it's a very patriarchal religion.
Yeah.
But we were approached by these elders, and they were like, hey, do you want to come to church with us? Because they're trying to rebrand as general Christians and not the amalgamation of Freemasonry and Christianity and manifest destiny doctrine, which we don't have time to unpack right now. But I looked at the kid and I was, because they're also 19 years old. I looked at the kid and I said, you're going to baptize me after I'm dead anyway. Why would I go to church with you?
Fair question.
Let's be so fucking for real right now. And I've never seen someone look so flabbergasted.
Yeah.
And then he went and talked to the other missionaries he was with and started pointing at me.
This is true.
Which was very funny. But I think if you want people to convert to your religion, maybe you shouldn't baptize people after they die.
Yeah. Also, I feel like it's...
And maybe don't baptize Holocaust victims and get caught doing it twice.
Yeah. No. I also think it's I know you just said that they're not taught that anybody outside of the church knows anything about the church. But that also is kind of a bad strategy in my mind. I think you should be prepared for rebuttals if you're trying to go out into the world and convince people to join your thing.
Well, that's the interesting thing is the missionaries that I interacted with when I was in my undergrad many moons ago, they because I was getting a degree in religion and we had made it clear that me and my friend we had made it clear that we were not interested in converting, but like they could eat lunch with us or whatever, and we could talk about religion. And they were like pretty well versed in both Mormonism and religions other than their own.
Cool.
The current crop does not seem to be very knowledgeable of like what others would know about Mormonism. Probably because at this point, what do people know about Mormonism? Black people weren't allowed to hold the priesthood until 78, 79. It was either the very late 70s or the early 80s. They know Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
78.
78. So black people could not go to the highest level of heaven until 1978.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's not a good look. What else? They hate gay people. They hate trans people. They were like behind the repealing of gay marriage equality in California when they did that. I think that was in like 2011 or something. Also, they have so much money. So if anyone knows anything about them, it's the fact that they have a shit ton of money. And in a lot of people's minds, they're probably pretty similar to like Scientology, where like Scientology is like people think Scientology is crazy because A, it is, and B, like kind of like newer religious movements pique people's interest and stuff like that. It is pretty fascinating. But also a lot of people just think it's a fucking joke because like, oh, you think Xenu exists?
What is Xenu?
Xenu is the alien that created humanity in Scientology, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
It's been a while since I've gone down a rabbit hole about Scientology. I think the last time was when, actually I'm not going to say that out loud because I don't want them to start following and stalking us. And you might be like, that's paranoia. No, it's not. They are crazy.
Yeah.
But Mormonism probably occupies a similar space in people's minds of like one of those like cults from out in the western half of the United States. There's just weird people out there. Or they think of the guy that shot Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Because his dad snitched to his bishop. And that's how the guy was caught.
Yep.
Except I think they called him like a pastor and not a bishop.
Interesting.
Because like the other thing about Mormonism is their clergy is a lay clergy. Like until you get to like the upper echelons of the church.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like you have bishops who are the men, and then I cannot remember the name of the women. I think like the quote unquote the highest position a woman can occupy is like Relief Society president. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
So unfortunate that.
But also like women in the Mormon church cannot go to the highest level of heaven unless they are married. And also, historically, to get into the celestial kingdom, which is the highest level of heaven, you have to have 3 wives. Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I think Relief Society president is the thing.
See, I know some things.
Yeah, you know many
But then, like, what do
things.
people know about Mormonism? Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And the church says that they're not affiliated with that show, but they won't condemn it because if those girls start beefing with the Mormon church, like they're not gonna come back from that.
Yeah.
You know? Which is
Yeah.
interesting in and of itself.
My youth soccer coach was Mormon.
There was a girl who was on my cross-country team who was Mormon. And I genuinely think the only interaction I ever had with her is we were sharing a hotel room when we were at one of our like out-of-town meets. And this is gonna hyper specifically date this. I was watching some Black Jesus on Adult Swim. I feel like I've told you this before because I think about it all the time. And if you don't know the premise of the show Black Jesus, it's just like, well, what if Jesus was a black guy and lived in the hood? And it's a funny show. It's very Adult Swim coded. It was on pretty early in the evening, all things considered. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this and she comes in and she starts screaming about how like this goes against her religion and how I need to turn off the television because it goes against her religion, which like Jesus can't be a black guy. Jesus will get so pissed off if there's a mildly satirical show that professes a lot of the same, you know, things that are in the Bible of like love your neighbor and make sure that like your community is taken care of and da 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 da. Like, Jesus is going to be pissed off about that?
Not my Jesus.
I don't even believe in Jesus.
I know.
I mean, I guess he was a guy, but like not in the divine way. So like, and I just think about it all the time because that was really like my first interaction with Mormonism.
Mm-hmm.
As I was like, so Jesus can't be black and this is so blasphemous, I have to turn it off? Because that was a little red atheist 14-year-old me, but even me now as an adult, I'm like, that is, maybe I should have handled it a different way. But I was like 14, 15.
What'd you end up doing? We can cut it out.
I called her racist.
Well, that...
She did not take that well. So, yeah.
Stuff. Well, my first introduction to Mormonism really was the presidential run of Mitt Romney.
I forgot Mitt Romney existed.
Yeah.
I was not...
No, because my parents had a subscription to the Funny Times, and I remember there was a comic in the Funny Times that was like Obama sitting on the front porch with Mitt Romney and his family, and Mitt Romney's mom being like, and so why don't you show your friends your magic underwear? And I was like, Mom, what the fuck is the magic underwear? And she was like, well, that's something the Mormons wear. And I was like, oh. And then I had follow-up questions about my soccer coach.
Well, and then there's also like the girl that I ran cross country with had to wear an alternate uniform because of the garments.
Interesting.
But then it like singles you out, you know?
Yeah. But I feel like my reading of that is like, yeah, no, it like does function to like single you out, but then it like has the effect of like binding you even closer to the community that you are a part of because everyone else is ostracizing you. Like that.
Yeah, no, that's why they send them on missions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they send them on missions to be ostracized by the general public.
Yeah, no. Kind of similar to the Rumspringa.
But at least with Rumspringa, they just let them do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who do not go back.
It's true.
But that's because they're Anabaptist, which is like an entirely different can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You can just make doilies.
Yeah. It's like a snowflake.
This is so fascinating. Sorry to...
You're like a spider.
I am like a spider.
Yeah.
It also like is like an entirely different way of like holding the hook as opposed to needles.
Mm-hmm.
So it does not make my wrist hurt in the same way knitting has been recently.
Oh, that's great.
Which was part of the reason where I was like, I'm going to teach myself how to crochet. But yeah, back to Mormonism. Luke is so Mormon-coded.
Yes.
And also, Hapes is so Mormon-coded. But in like an almost inverse way.
Expand on that.
Well, how much do you know about the Celestial Kingdom?
Not much.
Okay, so I'm going to badly explain the Celestial Kingdom
because
wait. I was not raised in Mormonism. So there are 4 levels of heaven. One of them is called Outer Darkness, which is just for apostates. One of them is... Does it count Outer Darkness?
No.
What is it? Terrestrial...
Celestial Kingdom, Terrestrial Kingdom, and the Telestial Kingdom.
Okay, thank you. I don't know why the names have to be so close together. But then there's also this thing called Outer Darkness where all the apostates go.
Based.
Where you just, like, rot in darkness forever. Because, wow, Joseph Smith was so... Wow, it's the bottom of the 8th.
Wow.
Guess what? It's still 0-0.
That's...
After the Pirates beat the Reds, like, 17-4 yesterday.
That makes no sense.
It's betting.
Yeah.
So, you have the Telestial Kingdom, which I don't remember what that one is, and it's probably not important. Then you have the Terrestrial Kingdom, which is like, it's a planet where everyone goes, and then you have the Celestial Kingdom, which is the highest order of heaven, wherein a man gets his own universe, essentially, and becomes god of his own sphere of existence. And then there is also someone that the Mormon Church does not like to talk about that exists within our own universe and within the concept of a celestial kingdom, who they refer to as Heavenly Mother, who they're not allowed to pray to or like mention that it actually exists. And yeah. And essentially what Heavenly Mother does is births all the souls in that universe, and you cannot pray to her. And she does not speak.
Oh. She just womb?
Yeah, she literally just womb. But
damn.
Historically, and by historically, I mean, I don't know if this is still the case. I do not know. What the fuck? I think it's Oakes. Oakes is the president now? Unless he dies, because he's like 107. I don't know what they be talking about behind closed doors. I don't know if you still need to be sealed to multiple women to get your own universe/planet. But essentially, the goal is that you populate that plane of existence. So we are like, in their eyes, we are all the children of Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a planet where you have multiple wives. There's one man, and they populate said planet or said universe. So if you look at the inverse, which I think is kind of what's happening, at least with Hapes,
Mm-hmm.
or like the good inverse, is at the end of the day, Isolder is able to make the quote-unquote ultimate decision, depending on who he seals himself to,
Mm-hmm.
for the future of both Hapes and the New Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Dathomir, which is like the inverse of Hapes,
Mhm.
where women, quote-unquote, are in control and enslave the men, and they're ugly. And the women from Hapes are hot, because there's also like a very weird hyperfixation on how particularly women look,
Mm-hmm.
which is why you have like the quote-unquote like Mormon look. And that's why all the women on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives like look like that,
Mm-hmm.
is because there is such a high standard placed on women for how like beautiful their outside is and how it mirrors how close to God they are and like how good their soul is or whatever. Which is interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. No. Because we also like have fixations on people's looks in relation to their goodness. Like one of the like Alderanian representatives is like a fat guy that no one likes, which is like, and they like the description gets so obsessed with his like his body in like a really like J.K. Rowling level of fat phobia.
Or like, I don't know, Stephanie Meyer's really weird about it too.
Yeah.
But also she's Mormon with the long khaki skirt.
The long khaki skirt is the sexiest thing you can wear. Modest is hottest. That's a phrase I learned from Alyssa Grenfell.
It is.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you are the hottest woman to ever exist, but also that men do not notice you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if something happens to you, it's your fault.
Oh, it's kind of... I feel like that's like... That has permeated outside of... That's not like exclusive to Mormons.
I think it's a Protestant ideal, to be completely fucking honest.
No, because I'm well familiar with that in... I don't know. Like, I lose my mind every time I'm like, God, I need to look hot, but I need to look like I'm not trying to look hot. Because, like, God forbid I look like I care about my appearance, because that will make me... That will mean that I'm, like...
Oh, no, Mormon women do have to care about their appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in a way, like, they have to put in an effort that I think is permeating into the general
Mm-hmm.
kind of consciousness, especially with, like, the rise in cosmetic plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm.
In the last, like, 20 years of, like, you need to do everything to make yourself look as young as possible for as long as possible, which results in women in their 20s getting Botox and women in their 20s getting ridiculous amounts of filler and shit like that.
Yeah.
In a way that does not permeate the same way in the eastern half of this continent, which is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, very Kylie Jenner
Mm-hmm.
coded.
Yeah.
Where, like, you are not going to see women that look like Kylie Jenner necessarily in Boston.
I've got crazy news for you about some girls I know.
Yeah, but is it every girl you know? Because if
No.
you, like, look at women from Utah,
Mm-hmm.
they all go to the same doctor.
Yeah.
And they all have the exact same filler
Mm-hmm.
by the time they are our age.
Yeah. No. I mean, like, I know one girl.
I mean, I know a few people who, like, got worked on
Mm-hmm.
and kind of have that.
Look.
I would consider it a Western United States
Yeah.
kind of look.
I also, like...
Also, there's a lot of Mormons in California.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's right next to Utah, no?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a state in between, but...
Yeah. Throwback to when we got drunk in the late afternoon and tried to draw maps of the United States from memory. And I made New England so big, which it is not.
And I forgot that Connecticut existed.
Fair. But you did a much better job with the western half of the United States.
It's because I won the geography bee
Ooh.
in 7th grade.
Good for you.
Are there other things Mormon adjacent? Oh, okay. So we can talk about Leia specifically.
Oh, yeah.
I know I mentioned this in the plot overview, but, like, the perception of Leia's presumed purity
Mm-hmm.
within this kind of system, and like the way that Mon Mothma is banking on Leia, like the bartering of Leia's body to a certain degree, which is in the first chapter, and it is fucking wild. Like, the implication of this marriage is to produce viable offspring. That is the implication of any marriage in kind of a quote-unquote traditional framework. And I did just kind of talk about like the standards that are placed on women. And if you look at stuff like The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and how most of these women are born within like 5 or 6 years of us either direction. I think the fewest amount of children any of them have is 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have no children.
You have no children. You've never been married. Most of them are divorced or have been married for enough time. Thank God not all of them put their children on the internet, because I do feel a certain type of way about that. But
yeah, same.
It's like, the presumption is that there's nothing that Leia could have done that could produce viable offspring, because then that offspring would be first in line. And then you have like Han's perception of arranged marriage, which is very similar when you're talking about like polygamist sects of Mormonism. In a way, a lot of those guys are treated like a lot of the sons, who are basically just like kicked to the curb because they can't be used basically as cattle to have children. And they constantly call the Night Sisters hags. Yeah. And it really bothers me.
Yeah. It's atrociously misogynistic.
Like, there are ways that you can portray women as being evil without just being like, they're ugly and they're a hag.
And there's also like a way to do it that's like not the flip side, which like we have with Ta Chum or Ta'a Chum, the matriarch. Yeah, like she's portrayed as like ridiculously hot and evil. You know, I feel like you get like two there's like 2 genres of like evil woman.
The evil that she is expected.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
What do you mean by expected evil?
Because she is the leader of 63 planets. Which means that she would have blood on her hands.
Yes.
And that is to be expected.
Yeah.
Insofar as it is not to be expected for the Night Sisters.
It's not expected for the, what, like...
It's not like a acceptable evil, quote unquote.
Yeah, like, so because she is like the supreme leader of this system of planets, like her evilness is approved by like her high place in the hierarchy there. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. But I guess like, okay, then... she's not a good example of this then. But I feel like there, broadly from my observations of like popular culture, I feel like there are beautiful evil women who are like part of their evilness like comes from the fact that they're like too good looking. And that is their like cardinal sin, is like it's almost like a resentfulness towards the fact that they like can elicit lust in people. And then there's the other cardinal sin of being a woman, which is being unfuckable. Yeah. You know,
is having a mark on your face.
Yeah.
Is not having pristine skin, which I personally do feel some type of way about. And by some type of way, I mean a lot of ways. As someone who historically had really bad skin. Yeah. Where, like, you are telling... And this is, like, the interesting thing of... Is this supposed to be marketed for 12-year-old boys? Because if it is, why are you portraying women in this way? Mm-hmm. Why are you telling a young boy to look at his classmates and determine who is good and bad based on how they look? Mm-hmm. I do not subscribe to that belief that Star Wars is exclusively for 12-year-old boys. Yeah. But it is an interesting thing to push, I guess, would be the best word.
Yeah. I mean, kind of like regardless, I mean, I think it's good to be at an age where you can like read something and it won't necessarily like permeate your subconscious in the same way that it would when you're a kid. Like the chances of me like reading this and being like, oh, like I'm going to now start thinking that every ugly old woman, or like, which I'm not looking at people and being like, you're an ugly old woman, you know, like, but I'm not looking from this book, I
Everyone
would
who
fucking
is
hope.
unfuckable.
Yeah. Which is like a horrible way to categorize someone. But like, it's like I'm reading this from like a point of advantage of like being able to like let it like wash over me like water off a duck's back, where like there would be a point in my life where I would read this and be like, oh shit, like I need to, like, God, this explains why nobody in my class wants to talk to me, because like I don't fit like the certain standards of like how I look, which like at the time, like I was reading shit that was making me feel that way, and it didn't feel good.
Yeah, to no one's surprise. You know, isn't that crazy?
How institutional misogyny makes everyone's lives worse?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hell of a drug.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, no. But yeah, one thing that I also did learn in my like exploits in learning more about Mormonism was the like trope of the golden investigator. Which, do you know about this? Or probably you do.
Well, you should tell me about it.
Okay, yeah. The golden investigator is like, the golden investigator describes like someone that like you talk to on your mission who is more receptive than most people in like talking about the teachings of the church. I feel like hopping around on like Mormon and Exmo subreddits, like there were like quote golden investigators who weren't necessarily like wholly receptive to like the church in its entirety, but were like at least willing to engage in discussion with missionaries. And I feel like, I don't know, there was one time I was on the metro and there were these two missionaries, both of whom were women, who were talking. The way they got me talking was like asking me if like I'd had a conversation with God recently. And they were lucky in that when I first moved here, I was not having a good time. And
well, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's they prey on people who
are not having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like it's a good fucking thing I like knew anything about the Mormon church, because like if the two people were nice to me and telling me like, hey, if you come to lunch on Sunday, we can get God to talk to you and then maybe your life will have meaning.
That's a crazy thing to say.
What?
On their part?
No, they didn't say that. I'm just summarizing what could have gotten to me somewhere, you know? Because like, I don't know.
So you met these two young women on the metro.
And it was nice. It was a pleasant conversation, because they were just sort of like, yeah, so what would be like important to you in like in like going more into a religion? And I was just like, I just sort of want, and my response is like, I said that I haven't like, I guess, heard from God lately. And they were like, well, have you tried talking to him? And I was like, well, no. And they were like, well, if you want God to listen, you should try talking to him first. And I was like, that's,
you know what, that is good advice, I guess, if you believe in God.
Yeah no, but I don't know, I watched Yi, a 1 and a 2 by Edward Yang this week, and there's this that movie has like a really good metaphor / like summary of like what it has always felt like to me to pray, which is like one of like the main thing that happens in that movie. Like a lot of shit happens in that movie. Great movie. But like the matriarch of the family like has a stroke and goes into a coma, and the various members of the family cycle through and like try to like, they're told by the doctor like, talk to your grandmother because it will help her brain functioning to have people speak to her. Mm-hmm. And so they all go in and like try to say things to her, and like the dad of the family is like, damn, I will talk to you, like you're my wife's mom, I love you, but like talking to you feels exactly how it feels like it does to pray, which is like, I don't know if you can hear me, and I don't know if this will do anything, but I'm being told that I should.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a Pascal's wager in that way, you know, like, you know, not sure if it's there or not, but probably.
If you're hedging your bets, might as well try.
Give it a shot. And so they were very nice. And I guess I don't think that conversation that was, you know, generally amicable, like, you know, qualifies me as like a quote golden investigator, because I like got off the metro at the wrong stop because I wanted the conversation to end.
And it happens.
Yeah. But I think Luke sort of like collects disciples on Dathomir. Like he's
Which
sort
is
of
crazy because none of them want to be Jedi.
Literally. And I don't even think Iceholder is necessarily force sensitive, so I don't think he could even be a Jedi, but like Luke does like
Luke wants him to so bad.
He wants him to so bad. He's like, no, you start thinking about like how you can act on like the good side of the Force, you know, or the light side. And then when he interacts with Tenennial, he's like, well, what you're doing is the same as what I'm doing, but like you're just sort of doing it wrong. Because my thing is bigger than your thing, which I feel like is a lot of.
Now that you're mentioning it, it does seem very missionary coded.
Oh yeah, no, I like a lot of my notes are like Luke is on a mission from God, to quote the Blues Brothers.
That's so, and maybe it's just because that's like what Wolverton, like the experiences that he has access to.
Yeah,
I guess would be the best way to put it. No,
let me get my page numbers out.
God, I love you and your page numbers.
But
it is very. I am here to bring my religion to the quote-unquote savages of this planet, which is also something that Mormons did a lot.
Yeah. No, like, tell me more about the Mormons' perspectives on the native people of what is now called North America.
They think that Jesus came to America. They also think the Garden of Eden is in, like, Missouri.
That's not where it is.
Or somewhere around there. That's important in my head. But they believe that anyone who is not white has the mark of Cain. And as we know from the Bible, which, you know, some 2 billion people on the planet have some knowledge of this story based on their religion of birth, I guess, is that Cain, who would like to note for the record that he's not his brother's keeper, murders his brother and then lies to God about it, and gets the, quote, mark of Cain, which the Mormons interpret to be non-white skin. So they say that the indigenous people of the Americas, and also Africans and black people broadly, rejected Jesus, which is why they're like that.
Yeah, no, which is definitely, I think, related to the connection that we've talked about between like how you look and then your proximity to God.
Yes.
You know?
I mean, if it's enough that an Adult Swim show sends a 14-year-old girl into a spiral.
Yeah.
Because Jesus is portrayed as a black man.
That is a flaw in your doctrine.
That is a flaw in your doctrine. And maybe you should not be a religion. Yep.
No. I have, well, on one, my notes start with on page 159 with the note, "This is a conversion story?" ? Which has a Iceholder thinking to himself. Iceholder watched the Jedi and wondered, was Luke truly led by some mystical force? Or did he simply follow his own conscience, fooled into believing that his strange powers and crazed notions came from some outside influence? With each step they took toward the mountains, Iceholder had to wonder, are my footsteps guided by the light side of the Force? And if so, where will this lead me? Whatever answer Iceholder found to that question, he knew it would change every future moment of his life. And so at this moment, I don't think like Iceholder has necessarily like converted to believing in like Luke's interpretation of the significance of the Force, but I think he's sort of set up in this way as like the quote-unquote golden investigator who is very receptive to reinterpreting his life in this way. And then we have Luke's conversations with Tenennial, who is a witch of Dathomir in the, I forget the name of her clan, TBH, the Southern Mountain Clan, I think.
Yes.
And so they've already had some conversations about the quote magic that she uses, which again, the fact that like she's a witch, she uses magic, she uses spells, like because of the fact that like our real world exists where the separate designation of witches, magic, spells from what we associate with quote unquote religion, which as we've talked about ad nauseum on this podcast and in our daily conversations is just Protestant Christianity. You know, like this dichotomy between like what is religion, what is witchcraft is entirely based on what you view as like the correct practice or religion. But so Luke gives his insight on like the Jedi doctrine in relation to Tenennial's quote witchcraft. And this is on page 194 in the mass market paperback, if that matters to anyone. Listen, Tenennial. It isn't the spells themselves that give you power. You are drawing on the Force, a power created by all living things around us. Because the daughters of Alia were strong in the Force, they mastered it somewhat. But it isn't the words you speak that give you power, nor is it any spell that corrupts you. It is the intent with which you cast your spells, the nature of your desires. If your heart is corrupt, your works will be corrupt. If you listened to your heart, then you would know this. Tenennial fidgeted. I think you do know this, Luke continued. You could have killed that Night Sister and the stormtroopers a few hours ago. Instead, you simply tried to cover your escape, sneak around them. Your generosity surprised me.
Which, we're going to ignore the fact that technically he's right. Because that's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's like, the Jedi are set up as being correct.
Yeah.
Within this, like, worldview, I guess, is the best way to put it. It is incredibly weird to say that to someone.
Yeah. No, and that's one of the, like, kind of beefs I have with the, like, way Force religions are discussed in Star Wars is that, like, because the Force is something that, like, demonstrably exists because of the fact that people can manipulate it and it has, like, outcome on events, and you know, I can if I had the powers of the Force, I could lift that hair clip right now from here with my mind. But you know, Force not real.
Thank God.
Oh my God. Anyway,
imagine if a religion could definitively prove.
Yeah, and so like the fact that there is no other like religion in Star Wars that has like is like set up at all that to view the essence of the Force in like the quote unquote correct way on par with the Jedi, I find to be very flawed, because like you sort of have like this empirical evidence that like the Jedi have this correct understanding, which sort of means that like they cannot be questioned, even though they're going around saying crazy shit like this to other Force users.
Well, to be fair, Luke has no fucking clue what he's talking about.
That's another thing.
It's like he's literally, I can do math in my head, he was 18.
Yeah.
Or 19 in Star Wars. This is 880Y.
He's 26 or 27.
That is so 27-year-old man coded.
Yeah.
Have we considered this is his natural progression in his life?
No, Luke just asked ChatGPT, can you explain the
Force to me, please? So I can explain it to this stupid bitch.
Literally.
Who thinks that we need to say words.
Yeah.
Words of affirmation.
No, and it's also the fact like that I know there are women who are Jedi, but like in this conversation it's very gendered.
Yes.
That like the witchcraft which is sort of like, you know, they're connected to the earth. They have this matriarchal society that like has its flaws, because the opposite of patriarchy isn't matriarchy. It's equality.
Well, it technically is the opposite.
I know.
But that's not what we should strive for.
Yeah, that's what I meant. No, the power itself is the problem, not who has the power.
Yeah.
Which, you know, in a way, it's kind of based to be like, this. You can read this book as a
critique of
girl boss feminism, which I don't think was his purpose, but it's funny to read it that way.
It is.
Yeah. See, you gotta separate the art from the artist, man.
But then how would we get Twilight?
True.
There's a direct line from this to Twilight.
Yes. And therefore a direct line from this to
50 Shades?
50 Shades.
And they converge at 9/11.
Yep. Gotta mention 9/11 at least one time per episode.
Yeah.
And then my other thing that's very Mormon about this book is that, you know, as you mentioned in the plot overview, Luke's interest is not just that, oh shit, my sister has been kidnapped by Han Solo, I need to go to Dathomir.
He wants to go do a colonization.
He wants to go do colonization, and he also wants to find some information about a former Jedi Academy. And what's cool about this is that he does find the former Jedi Academy, which is a spaceship. And within the spaceship, oh my god, what does he find? The box was filled with reader discs, hundreds of them, containing more volumes of information than any one person could hope to study in a lifetime. What does that remind you of?
The tablets.
Yup.
He found Luke Skywalker, Joseph Smith confirmed.
Yep.
Next, he's going to translate them from fucking whatever the language that is on Yavin in the buildings. He's going to translate them by looking in a hat.
And I'll translate it into basic. It's Masasi, an ancient. Well, that's like warrior caste of the Sith species. Is that what we want?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So that's great. And then that was my last note, because my last note is OMG, Luke has a convert heart.
That's not his sister.
No.
She really does not want to do that.
Yeah. Tenennial smiled, hugged him. Luke took Iceholder's hand, held it. Remember to serve the light side of the Force, Luke said. Though you will never wield a lightsaber or heal the sick, you will have some light within you. Be true to that light. And so it's perfect, like, the way things all tie up in the end. Like, he makes Iceholder realize the significance of following the light side of the Force, and then, like, he helps someone who is a Force user realize the true ways of the Jedi, and then they will be bound together and have children and prosper in Hapes, which is Utah.
Yes.
Yep. Celestial Utah. So.
Well, and it is one of the, like, okay, not to go back to the gender thing really quick, but you know how when misogynists are like, well, no, obviously, like, women and men have different places, but women still have power.
Yes.
That's what the Hapes Consortium is giving.
Yeah. But, like, for men? Or
no, but for women.
Yeah.
Where, like, when you compare Hapes to the Empire, it's like, women run this sphere.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to let them meddle in our sphere, because when they are in power, they murder each other behind closed doors instead of fighting in a regular war like men.
Stupid women. That's sarcasm. I love women.
So, you're really interested in galactic politics. I was going to call it geopolitics, but it's not geopolitics.
Celestial politics.
Celestial politics. I cannot remember. It was probably Krytos Trap when we talked about, are they gonna, when they get the people off Kessel?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. What the fuck is up?
What the fuck is up? We kind of, there's another cache of political prisoners on this planet. And Han is like, are we gonna do something about this? Do they do anything about it? We don't know.
Doesn't seem like it.
But one of those guys ran an aerospace company and was put in prison because he refused to have defense contracts with the Empire. And just the idea of an aerospace company without a defense contract is very funny to me. Personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. This,
Also, everyone keeps saying Mon Mothma was elected.
When?
When? By whom?
How are elections run in the galaxy far, far away?
I have so many questions.
Do they have gerrymandering?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Do you think it's speciesist?
Probably.
Do you think the guys in InvisSec can vote?
Probably not.
Doesn't seem like they would let them vote.
No. I don't.
But maybe that's just because I'm from a racist society. Like, I grew up in a racist place.
Yeah.
So I'm like, of course they would disenfranchise people, but it kind of seems like they are.
Yeah, I mean, I have yet to be proved by the actions of the New Republic that they aren't, like, an inch away from going full racism. Yeah. No, like, it only took, like, a couple instances of, like, non-humans carrying out terrorist acts in Solo Command for
them to be like, shit, we can't have any of these people be on active duty.
Yeah, which is racist. So, also, like, which Zinja pulling that was, like, very similar to the intentions behind Isan Isard having the Krytos virus only impact non-humans. Because she was just like, well,
I'm going to prove you guys are racist.
Yep.
And then she does. Which doesn't make it any better.
Nope.
Because, like, Isard herself...
Racist.
Very racist. Zinj seems pretty racist.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody in the Empire seems pretty racist. And, like, I guess you could theoretically point at Thrawn, but Thrawn seems to be the most racist of them all.
Yeah.
He's just racist in a different way.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Ascendancy, pretty racist.
Pretty racist is an understatement.
Yeah.
They're like,
oh my god, if you're not Chiss, you're sentient?
That's
crazy.
That's wild.
I can't. That doesn't compute. I don't. No.
And everyone else hates them for it because, of course.
Yeah. Literally. No. And then, like, I don't know, Han's really racist in this book. Like, he sees Hape's ships and he's like, gotta attack.
Right now.
Right now. Immediately. I will not be stopped.
It's because he hates women, actually. It's not because he's racist.
Oh.
He hates to see a girl boss winning, which is why Leia hates him now.
I mean...
But then she changes, they both change who they are, and then they get married and live happily ever after because it's Mormonism.
Yes. No. And also, like, I don't know, there's the conversation that Mon Mothma has with Han Solo in the first chapter where Han is like, why aren't you a part of, like, the official... Like, why aren't you up there with Leia? Like, you're the elected leader of the New Republic.
By whom?
And Mon is like, oh, well, you know, like, because I'm the elected leader, like, this is my this would be viewed as threatening by the Hapes. Like, they would be threatened by, like, our democracy. They wouldn't, like, literally the quote is, the Queen Mother Chumer feels threatened. Chumer feels threatened by our democratic ways. Which, yeah, it really...
It's kind of giving Gulf War.
Yeah, no, it really gives to me, like, the, yeah, no, we need to, bomb them into democracy.
Yeah, we need to go bring democracy to Iraq or...
Yeah. No.
Wherever.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's very interesting that we learned that Hapes never fell to the Empire.
But also, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean to fall to the Empire?
Mm-hmm.
Because that seems like a lot of worlds.
Mm-hmm. 63.
Could you trade with the Empire?
Yeah. I mean, they seem to have a pretty robust internal economy.
Yeah, but, like, what does that mean in Star Wars words?
I don't know.
You know?
Because
Like,
I also think a lot of this is never very thoroughly expanded upon.
what does it mean to have a good internal economy?
Yeah.
You're telling me that the human supremacist organization didn't want the humans who are also human supremacists in their organization? Makes sense if they're also sexist.
Yes.
Makes less sense if they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Were they collaborating with the Empire?
It's like a Finland situation?
Maybe. Wouldn't be surprised.
Not me either. Yeah. Yeah, and it's, so, the whole reason behind the, like, contact with Hapes in the first place is that...
They need money.
They need money. The New Republic is famously broke, and they need money to continue their fight against the warlords.
And you're telling me that the Empire wouldn't have attempted to scalp them out of all of their money?
Yeah. Seems doubtful from everything I know about the Empire.
Yeah, it just seems very like, because they seem to be placed like strategically.
Mm-hmm. Which is also interesting as to, like, how they're not really... Do we have other media with the Hapes in them?
I don't know.
Because if they're, like, this powerful and this, like, strategically placed, I feel like they would... Like, it kind of makes sense that, like, we don't hear that much from the Ascendancy in other shit that isn't explicitly about the Ascendancy, or...
Well, yeah, because they're isolationist.
Yeah, which I guess Hapes is also isolationist.
Yeah, but they're not on the other side of a bunch of, like, black holes.
Yeah. No. And, like, I don't know. Not to be a hater and to harp on, like, what other systems the New Republic focuses on within their governance besides the war machine, but, like...
They focus on things other than the war machine?
They don't. And that's the thing. It's like, what, like, you need money. It seems like, and, like, to be fair, like, the New Republic at this point has, existed for, like, 8 years?
Not even.
Not even? Like, it's...
What, Return of the Jedi happens in 4 ABY?
Yeah, so 4 years of this being a government. So, like, it kind of makes sense that they're still in the phase of, like, oh, we don't know how to exist as, like,
it just seems
not
like
a militarized society. Yeah.
You should figure out.
Yes.
Like, you should figure out the money situation.
Yeah. And...
Because doing a coup and then having the economy go to shit does not seem very conducive to having people, like, not...
Suffer?
A, suffer, and B, do a coup against you.
Yeah. No. It's a... coup, then unstable economy does not a stable democracy make.
No. But then also, is this a democracy?
Doubtful.
Allegedly. freaky arranged marriages to fascist societies and democracies.
No. Yeah.
Usually that's a sign of a failing.
Yeah. It's a bit of a... and that is also interesting that, like, the New Republic seems, like, really, really focused on expansion more than, like, stabilizing the planets it already has under its power, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I understand the logic, I guess, behind, like, wanting Coruscant, but, like, that seemed, like, I don't know.
No, I get it.
Yeah, I feel like the wanting Coruscant, like, the whole, like, the entire plot of, what the fuck is the book where they get Coruscant? It's not Krytos Trap.
A Wedge's Gamble.
Wedge's Gamble. Yeah. Fun book. But, like, it's kind of, it's like less than a year after the Emperor died?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's not, like, I and then ultimately when they do get the planet, like, Isard wanted them to get the planet. Like, it was a very...
Because she wants to be like, wow, look how racist the New Republic is.
Yeah.
I would like to cause division and strife.
And she does. And then, like...
Very successfully, mind you.
No, it's like, I feel like the New Republic is, like, very obsessed with symbolic victories more than material ones, which is very disappointing.
Rather unfortunate.
Yeah, no. And, like, I don't know, because, like, there was a note that we had, I think you pointed it out, in, I think, one of the early Wraith Squadron books, where they're not undercover as the Hawkbats yet, or maybe they are, or I think this is when they, like, first encounter the real Hawkbats, because this is the incident which causes Piggy to be like, why the fuck is Warlord Zinja, like, working with pirates? And these guys are like, oh, like, we're validly out here, like, we're colonists. Like, it seems to be a practice in the galaxy far, far away to, like, there's seems to still be the, like, ongoing process of, like, finding, like, quote unquote, like, unclaimed worlds and then colonizing and settling them.
Well, to be fair, these ones at least do seem like truly
Unpopulated,
truly not populated, which I guess is better.
Yeah, but I feel like at that point, like, what does it mean to be a colonist then? You know, does it?
I mean, a colony in and of itself. There were at one point colonies that existed because there were not people there.
Yeah.
Like,
no, but then, like, I don't know. I just find it really fucking interesting that I have a note. Let me see what the thing that made me say this was. Oh yeah, because I don't know. This all comes from, like, Han wins a fucking planet at a sabacc game. Like, I mean, I guess it makes sense that, like, sort of planets function as, like, plots of land which have deeds to them, which I guess, like, you could, like, put up a deed to a plot of land that you have in real life in a poker game.
Yeah.
But, like, crazy that, like, someone who wasn't from Dathomir had the deed to Dathomir, put it up at a sabacc game. Han wins it. He's on the planet. He's trying to make deals with the people on the planet, and they're like, okay, well, we'll work with you on the conditions that, like, you give us the deed to our planet, and also, like, if you do that, then, like, we'll give you the riches of our planet, because Dathomir seems to have, like, a bunch of money, which
seems to have about as much money as Hapes, not gonna lie.
Yeah, or at least a single planet on Hapes at the very least, because I feel like it's a lot of money for one planet to have more than or equal to money than a 63 planet system. But Dathomir, people don't seem to get off Dathomir.
Yeah.
It's, like, I think because of the dark magical power of the Night Sisters, the Empire wants to make sure that they don't fucking leave, because that's dangerous. Also, I think the New Republic would also not enjoy there being loose evil witches out, which...
Fair,
yeah, you know.
If they're causing problems.
Yeah, and it's not, like, the fault of the New Republic leadership that Dave Wolverton decided to be misogynistic in the way he described these women.
Yeah.
You know? But...
I mean, it is insofar as he wrote the book.
Yes.
And made the New Republic act the way that it did in the book.
True. But I do find it incredibly interesting that, like, the quote good witches on this planet are excited about being colonized. When Han is like, oh, what would you do if you got the deed? One of them says, we would sell the land to settlers and hire teachers to come to us from the stars. We would join the New Republic and learn your ways so that in time our children will no longer be outcasts living in these rough hills.
Which, like, in their defense, I guess, they did get their shit rocked.
Yes.
By the Old Republic, presumably. Yeah. They were sent there because they fucked up really bad and did a bunch of weird, evil shit. That sucks.
Yeah.
But, like, did they not have schools of their own?
Doesn't seem like it.
Because you think that they would be able to do that, at least. It's really giving Manifest Destiny.
It's very much giving Manifest Destiny, which, again, very...
Pointed. I said very pointed.
Yeah, and, you know, what... I was trying to conjure my AI voice up. Deeply connected to Mormonism.
Deeply connected to Mormonism?
Intricately tied. An intricately woven tapestry of...
Mormon doctrine.
Yes. And, man, I had a page number which had... Oh my god, Dathomir lore 193. Yeah, just I wanted to clarify why bitches are here in the first place. Not bitches because they're women, but well, whatever.
I mean, they might be bitches.
They might be bitches.
We don't know.
Why? No, we don't. What's the deal with all these witches on Dathomir? You may ask. The Star People cast out Alia, who seems to be like their founding mother. Alia was a rogue Jedi. The Old Republic did not want to execute her, so the Jedi exiled her, hoping that given time she would turn away from the dark side. Tenaniel expands on this, saying she used her spells to tame the wild rancors and hunt food. She taught her daughters all of her lore and taught them to hunt for their mates, even as I hunted for you. While rancors dined on others, the daughters of Alia prospered from generation to generation, teaching their own daughters the spells. We divided into clans, and for a long time the clans vied for men in friendly competition, stealing mates. We governed ourselves, punished anyone caught using the night spells. In my grandmother's day, we pushed the wild rancors from these mountains. My grandmothers hunted the last of them. We hoped for peace at last. But in my mother's time, the outcast Night Sisters gathered together. At first, they were not many, and then the Night Sisters became one clan.
Which, are they even really a clan? Not really.
No.
They just kind of seem homeless.
Yeah.
Which is, like, not their fault.
No.
It's not a very forgiving society.
No. But it is sort of... I don't know, it sort of reminds me of, like this book has the same energy to me as, like, when Anakin / Darth Vader and then Thrawn go to Batuu and, like, witness the way the Clone War is playing out there. And,
oh, what, you mean it's bad for everybody?
Yeah. And it's, like, I don't know, because, like, they're both sort of, like, backwater planets where it's just sort of, like, and then people who are from, like, the center of power are like, oh, shit. Oh, that's how that's working. Not good, huh? What are we gonna do about that?
Nothing.
Fucking nothing.
I'm gonna blow it up, actually.
Problem solved.
I love solving things with violence.
Yeah. Oh, there was seemingly an Iron Age. Or at least, like, it's just...
I was just gonna bring up the fact that they got switchboard operators for some reason. I didn't think they'd need that.
With the HoloNet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Ideal job, personally. I would have been a great switchboard operator.
You would have been such a good switchboard operator.
I would have been fantastic. Unfortunately, It's not something that exists anymore.
We should fix that.
Dave Overton is fucking trying.
He's doing his darndest.
Yeah. That is my personal last point.
My last point is that I think it's really funny. I mean, it's, like, similar to, like, the use... This has the same energy to me as, like, using words from other languages in Star Wars books. So, like, the use of ersatz. Like, is German necessarily canon? No, but, like, ersatz is, like, a useful adjective. And similarly here, there's, like, technology here is referred to as simple Iron Age technology, which... Did they have an Iron Age? Like,
wouldn't every species have an Iron Age?
I guess so, but...
How, like, chimpanzees are in the Stone Age?
Yeah, but I just thought this was... Oh, this was Isolder realizing this to himself, not Han. But I thought this was...
Well, so
hilarious.
Hapes definitely did have an Iron Age, we have learned.
Yes.
And they talk about it still,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird.
Yeah, because, like, when would have Hape's Iron Age have been? Like, 20,000 years ago? If that?
I mean, our Iron Age was kind of a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
Not 20,000 years, but, like, if we make it that long, maybe they'll still talk about it.
Yeah.
Because maybe there will be a different species where, like, chimpanzees are using stone tools now.
Yeah.
So maybe one day chimpanzees will learn to smith iron. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe they will learn to smith a different metal.
Yeah. Good shit.
Which would be fascinating.
It would be fascinating.
I would love to know what smithing would look like if it was a monkey doing it. Like, just imagine a chimpanzee who has, like, a 1700-degree oven to metalsmith. It's a very funny picture.
It is a very funny picture. Do you think they would wear personal protective equipment?
I don't know.
I hope so.
Like,
they don't
well,
want
then
the
they have to
monkeys to get
build
burned.
personal protective equipment.
They have to figure that out. Do you think they would, like...
It took us a hot minute to figure that out.
Yeah.
To be fair.
No. Do you think we'd ever get to a point where, like, chimpanzees would be like, oh, we've realized that humans figured this out and we can ask them for tips? I feel like that probably wouldn't go well. Because we're assholes.
Would not go well. I mean, for that... Sorry to get on our evolution side tangent before we are done for the day, but that would require them to be able to effectively communicate with us?
Yes.
I think there would be more of an issue with that than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't necessarily have the vocal cords to verbally communicate like we do.
Yeah.
And,
well, Coco learned sign language.
Coco mimicked things for food.
Aw, man. Tough.
And also, would we necessarily want to help them, or would we want to let them do it on their own?
Great question.
I think it would probably end up being the latter.
Yeah.
There's also, if they realize that we've already done all this shit, and, like, can assimilate that information, what is to say that they do not look at us as gods?
Sort of like the aliens from Arrival type situation.
Yeah.
But not precisely at all, actually. I love that movie.
It's the only Denis Villeneuve movie I like.
Tabarnak.
He does much better sci-fi when it's not...
Dune?
Dune, yeah.
I'm really glad we're on the same page about his adaptations of Dune. I feel the same way about Denis Villeneuve's adaptations of Dune as I do about Christopher Nolan's adaptation of The Odyssey, which is...
I think I feel worse.
About Dune or...
About Dune.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, like, my gripes with him are the same, which is this is not a gray story, like, color scheme wise, like, and the mood of this. Like, I think you can talk about serious things without things being...
Dune is not the movie to let your weird, complicated feelings about laïcité manifest.
No, we shouldn't.
Should not get on the Quebec hate train, but...
No.
It's a movie about religious extremism. You need to have religious extremists.
Yeah.
And you can't fully divorce it from religious extremism that we experience on Earth, which is, like, the whole fucking point of Dune.
Yeah. Someone who experienced the Quiet Revolution should not be at the helm of Dune.
Well, technically he didn't. That was before his time.
Okay. Someone whose parents experienced the Quiet Revolution should not be
maybe
at the helm
grandparents.
Of Dune. I don't know how... I think what we're learning here is I do not know how old Denis Villeneuve is.
No, I was just making a joke about how young people have children. For a secular society, why are my spouse's grandparents 70?
That's younger than my dad.
I know.
Crazy.
My grandparents are closer in age to his great-grandparents than his grandparents.
Ain't that some shit?
It's uncomfortable to think about. Well, that's the Courtship of Princess Leia. This was the...
Do you feel courted?
I don't know what that means.
Fucking nothing.
I am not getting married at the end of this book.
No.
Do you have any last thoughts?
No.
Me either.
I did pick up the Jedi Academy trilogy, and then I put it back down again.
I read a Margaret Atwood book of my own volition, and not because I was forced to.
Crazy.
And then I got really pissed off at it, because
this is true.
I have thoughts and feelings about Margaret Atwood. That's all I'll say. So next time we're covering Ice Heart's Revenge.
That makes sense.
We're going to get to go back into the world of X-Wing.
Fuck yeah.
Which is more ripe for analysis.
I think we did
all right, but we're not cutting the outlines we have to make time.
No.
It was a fun book.
It's a fun book.
My review, a good 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's a great time. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to unpack.
There is a lot to unpack.
And most of it has to do with the Doctrine and Covenants.
Yes, that was the beefiest part of our discussion. Unfortunately, the celestial political aspects in this book.
Lacking a little bit.
A little bit.
I don't know how you're going to feel about Isard's Revenge or Starfighters of Adumar. I am Lou, and we owe our art and the co-hosting to our glorious leader, Lenny. Our music is by Thomas Seibel, and you could leave us a review if you wanted. You could leave us a comment. You could find us on Blue Sky and Substack, which we'll be posting on soon-ish.
Maybe. Yes.
Yeah, probably. I have a semblance of an outline.
Ooh.
For my Twi'lek.
Hell yeah.
Baddie essay. It's not going to get done before my other shit gets done, but, you know, it is what it is. You could, tell us what you like, what you don't like. You can email us if you so choose. Thank you for listening. We will see you next time. I guess not see you.
Not
we'll
if we
see you
first.
in the Celestial Kingdom.
Inshallah.
It's the Halal movie night, Finding Nemo 2.
Inshallah, they will find him.
It's the funniest meme.
It's really good.
Inshallah, they find him.